Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Symphony. Symphony Entertainment, Gaming, and Arts is my gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency in an attempt to bring a horrific approach and a symphonic approach to horror role-playing. I am your host, Bridget Jeffries, and tonight we'll also be serving as your game master. Tonight, we are playing part 1 of the Laraine Estate, written by Sarah Richardson, for Kult, Divinity, Lost, and published by Helmgast. You can find Kult, Divinity, Lost online at modifius.net, Helmgast, and Drive-Thru RPG. I highly recommend checking out cultdivinitylost.com for free resources, including the scenario that we're playing tonight. Yes, this is a free scenario that is available on that website, along with any other free stuff they have up there, such as the player moves, which I downloaded, sent to the cast, and they all have, and it's a really big help. I'd like to, if things get awkward on my side, I'm going to give you a heads up about it. Ohio is going through a super emotional wind, thunderstorm catastrophe. So I have a husky underneath my desk that is losing her life. So I'm really sorry if I'm all over the place. I'd like to give a few culty shout outs to the following people. One, the team over at Red Moon Role Playing. Listening to their podcast actually gave me the courage to start running Kult myself, and it kind of pushed me over the nervous hump. So they have a bunch of Kult content over there with amazing storytelling, great GMs, sound effects, the whole gambit. So you can check them out at redmoonroleplaying.com. I also want to shout out Seth Skorkowski, who is currently running a YouTube series on Kult Divinity Lost on his YouTube channel. So far, he's gone over kind of like general lore introduction, character creation, and episode 3 was game mechanics. That doesn't even account for all the reviews that he's done on various Kult scenarios. So if you're new to Kult like me and you really want to have like some hands-on coaching and support, I cannot recommend checking out his YouTube channel more. And last but totally not least, if you need more Kult actual play in your life, like you sitting down and playing the game, connect with Ryan at the Illusion and HorrorCon. I'm about to put a link to their Discord along with Red Moon. Yeah, Seth does rock. Along with Red Moon Role Playing and Seth Skorkowski's YouTube video. So, before we get into the game, a couple quick announcements. Symphony Entertainment does have a Patreon, so if you like this content and you would like to help us create more of it, please back us on Patreon. Tiers are fleshed out with everything from behind-the-scenes content, postcard, free books, and more. Backers actually voted on this very scenario, so thank you, backers. Hopefully we do well for you guys because you chose it. Also, appropriately tiered backers will also receive a post-Symphony Gala talkback where the 4 of us will get together after tonight's episode and give our impressions of the episode, how our characters are doing, and kind of go through the unpack. So you can get access to all that content at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. We are also hosting a giveaway, which I'm super excited about. Mike Diamond, who is here with us on cast, who is a Symphony backer and also owns the Old Ways podcast, is sponsoring this episode. So they're going to be giving away a free PDF of the 4th edition core rulebooks, this game. And then when we come back next Saturday for the conclusion, he's actually giving away a hardcover book. So if you would like to enter the giveaway, you need to enter Bang the Mad Angel. That's the Mad Angel for a chance to win. You do have to be a follower of the channel to do so. So Mike Diamond and Always Podcast, thank you not only for being here, but thank you for sponsoring this episode. One more time, guys, as a weather-related note, Ohio is being very Ohio right now, and Tara and I both live in Ohio. We're under severe weather advisory with winds supposed to be jumping up to 55 miles per hour. That means I might lose power or internet or both. And if that happens, I don't know what you want from me. That also means that my husky mix, who is between my legs right now, and Tara's Pibble mix, they're probably going to lose their mind a good part of this stream. Sorry. If you have pets, you already know. So, without further ado, let's unveil this cast. Cast members, starting with Tara, tell us who you are, what you do, where people can find you if you're interested in being found, and just for now, the name and the occupation of your PC. Nothing further. Tara, take us off, babe.
I'm Tara. I'm a nurse here in Northern Ohio, and where can you find me? You can find me at Chaosium.com, ChaosiumCon in April. And hanging around on Discord and Facebook and whatever. I don't have any businesses or anything for y'all to follow. But hit me up. I love to game, and I have a normal job now, so I can even do evenings sometimes.
Oh, thank goodness for that one.
As for my game, this game, I am Desi Reyes. I am a PI who's been hired by the
Oh, don't say anything else. That's it.
I've been hired to work in this game.
Yep. And we're super grateful for it. Heinrich, hit us, baby.
Greetings, Symphony. My name is Heinrich Mohr. I am a Call of Cthulhu community content creator. I am one of the folks who helps organize the annual Miskatonic Repository Convention, Miskatonic Repository being the community content program that Chaosium has set up for Call of Cthulhu. I am incredibly excited to be here. Kult is near and dear to my heart. I have been a fan since 1993.
Oh!
Old school. Don't necessarily recommend playing this game at a very young age, but sometimes different times. I am going to be playing Chen Wu today, who is an urban explorer and also a student, but mostly an urban explorer.
Amazing. And Mike, hit us, baby.
Yeah, hi, this is Mike, Mike Dinan. I'm from the Old Ways podcast, a place where you can come and see all sorts of flavors of horror. We'd be happy to stop by and join us. For this stream, I'll be playing Paz Ortiz, who's a student and urban explorer.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. We have reviewed red lines. We plan to honor the Cult Divinity Lost horror contract, which covers forbidden subjects, stop phrases and signs, and scary things. The X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message in Zoom, or you can visibly X me. There's going to be no judgment passed, no questions asked in the event that an X hits the table. We will also be using the green, yellow, red traffic light method, which is probably my absolute favorite safety tools. We're going to be making, Bridget will for sure will be making liberal use of that safety tool during the duration of this game. Safe environments make for better stories, especially with content like this. We can go deeper and we can go further knowing that mutual respect has been established between us. So, for example, Team Overshare, this game tips the meters on sex and sexual situations and horrific sexual encounters. I am asexual in real life, so I already know I'm going to get stretched this game. But I trust this cast, and we have tools in place to keep everyone safe. So I know that I've got them, I know that they got me, and we can push forward. But that's the cast on the table. I need to talk to the viewers. Discretion is advised. Cult Divinity Lost is a game for adults. It touches on subject matter that most horror games just simply won't. It thrives in the bowels of personal horror. So you too need to be aware of the following content warnings. Sex and sexual situations. Body horror. Revisiting a child death by drowning. Child loss in pregnancy. Mild flashbacks to child murder. Heavy amounts of grief. Murder, suicide, and orgies. If that isn't your bag, that's completely okay. I promise. If it is, welcome to Cult Divinity Lost. Mike?
We live in a world where the sun has set.
Forsaken creatures roam deserted streets in crumbling cities.
Fallen angels, mourning their creator, seek shelter in abandoned cathedrals of steel and rust.
Behind silent facades of skyscrapers, people in designer clothes strap their victims to cold autopsy tables.
Forbidden rituals are woven with human blood and terror.
Mangled bodies are taken away in plastic bags to disappear forever.
Secret words are spoken by death magicians over cheap bourbon and rundown bars.
In abandoned buildings, children of the night sell demons in bottles from Estee Lauder.
Forgotten gods are revived by the neon lights and the street noise and tread their dance of death in trendy clubs.
Every crossing, every rickety staircase or doorway may lead to unknown worlds.
We are imprisoned in the borderlands of darkness and madness, dreams and death.
A veil has been placed over our eyes, masking the truth and keeping our divine souls asleep.
In the labyrinth of the city, the prophets of our age begin their journey towards awakening.
We live in a world where the sun has set, where our divinity is lost, where death is only the beginning.
Late October 2018, somewhere deep in the South. Pollyanna Wright, aka Popper Polly, is a serious practitioner of urban exploration. She and her regular crew, I'm going to tee up a handout for you guys now, consist of her camera person, Deshaun Taylor, a film student at a local community college. Her bodyguard, Joshua Harris, veteran of the Iraq War, now retired from service. And on this latest expedition, local guide, Maryam Jahani, a homeless woman and former waitress. Our celebrity explorer sometimes invites others to join in on her expeditions, like you, Chinwoo. And you know that Popper Polly has 3 primary rules. Disturb nothing, don't get caught, and leave a surprise for the next explorer. Popper Polly also made a rule of leaving a small tag in every building that she explores. It consists of a neon pink smiley face with a manhole hook forming the mouth. And I'm going to actually show you this handout now. This tag of Popper Polly's was actually created by Seth Skorkowski. So Seth, thank you so much for donating this image to the stream. We sincerely appreciate it. On October 1st, Popper Polly posted online that she was planning something big for Halloween and that she would be scouting locations before then. That was the last time anyone heard from her, well, until that YouTube video surfaced. In it, she was crying and screaming. She said that she was lost somewhere beneath the Laraine estate and that there was a beautiful fire. The lighting, it was subpar, but she did look like she was underground and her voice echoed in a particular way. Well, her screams did, anyways. It was strange, those screams, weren't they? No one else seemed to notice it, to experience it, but you 3 did. More on that later. That video was uploaded to Popper's account using her credentials at 1:11 a.m. on October 11th. The entire incident has been hailed by various audiences as a prank, widely debunked as a hoax, a Halloween joke, a way to play up the mystery and the fun, except you 3. You 3 know. You know that it's not. Because you 3 aren't like most people, are you? Oh, you've seen things, experienced things, felt things, and survived things that have caused you to question this reality. Where most occupants in this world are sleeping, you 3 are aware. You realize that there's something fundamentally wrong with this world, and at least how you experience, and you've begun to notice those cracks in the illusion. You have reason to believe that there are things that exist beyond the realm of explanation and the realm of reality. And the Laraine estate is likely one of them. Sure, everyone suspects that the location is haunted. It's had its fair share of deaths, murders, suicides, disappearances, trauma, agony, and more over the years. That's why it's sat idle for so long. But you 3 know that when you get to the Laraine estate, you're probably going to meet whatever Popper met. You just hope that you're not too late. So, let us introduce these characters. As Tara was briefly saying, and I'll kind of slide in now, Popper Polly's aunt was mortified when she saw that video. She hired a private investigator, Desi Reyes, to find her niece. Desi, during the course of your investigations, you naturally came upon Chinwoo, Popper's best friend and fellow urban explorer, and Paz Laraine Ortiz, a very wealthy university student who actually financed Popper's latest expedition into the Laraine estate at the not too cheap price of $12,000. It's a hell of a sponsorship. During the course of your investigations, Desi, you realized that Popper wasn't the first group that Paz sent in, or the second, or the third. No one is talking about these missing explorer groups. No one is even looking for them. And that's strange, isn't it? And no one seems to notice that people who go into the Laraine estate don't come back out. Like I said before, you guys are different. You're no longer sleeping. You're aware. So, let's talk about these characters, shall we? I'm going to start with Paz. Paz, where were you and what were you doing when you saw that YouTube video of Popper screaming, crying, and talking about a beautiful fire?
I was probably mid-heist. So Paz is a sort of fellow that, because of a lot of the financing that's been done, he's trying to make up the rest of his monetary lackings in other ways. He's reasonably adept at taking some things that maybe aren't his.
Hmm.
And so I was probably coming off of a job and saw the notification drop and saw the video live.
Okay. You were fresh off of a job. Interesting. So, leaning into that just a bit more, past, what exactly is it that you do for a living? And what do you like best about it?
Oh, I mean, on paper, I'm a university student.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important part. History, of course, because history is super important. It also gives me a leg up on certain channels of information when it comes to collecting items which may or may not be missing, or maybe items that won't be missed.
Beautiful articulation there, Mike. Paz, what's your favorite physical feature? And then counter that with what's your least favorite physical feature?
My favorite physical feature is my broad shoulders.
Hmm.
I have sort of a natural A-frame torso, and it's pretty nice. It helps out a ton, especially with the ladies. I never look like a slouch, even if I have to slouch.
Mm.
So that's super nice. The thing that I really can't get past is I I seem to have skipped leg day an awful lot, at least
Okay.
somewhere along the line. And I'm a little self-conscious when it comes to uh, the narrower parts of the lower part of my body.
That's fair. We appreciate your transparency. Hey, Paz, what are you expecting to find at the Laraine estate?
Oh, all sorts of goodies. It's an estate, and it's also likely a drop point for all sorts of older collectibles. It's the
Mm.
best way to say it. Trade goods, perhaps, and maybe some clarity when it comes to what's at the heart of the estate.
What's at the heart of the estate? Mr. Laraine Ortiz? That's a beautiful articulation. Paz, my last question for you, and I kind of need your help to walk all of us through the experience. When you were finishing up that heist, and you watched that video, you got the notification, your curiosity just kind of just overwhelmed everything else, and you heard Popper screaming. You didn't just hear Popper screaming, did you? It was the anguished screams of dozens of people, men, women, children, all of them coming from her mouth, mixed in, intertwined symphonically with her scream. And no matter how often you play that video, her screams, their screams, when you hear them, you become instantly aroused, almost painfully so. How are you reconciling this, Paz? Is this family curse that you fear so deeply? Are you sexually aroused by screams? What is it about this video that is so enticing to you?
I think Paz likely uh, sticks the first gear in denial because to accept the fact that he's so aroused by all of that pain, someone, not just a single person's pain, but a group of people's pain, would sort of unravel him a little, I think.
Hmm.
And so Paz has couched it first in denial, and after a day or so, tries to just blow it off as uh, maybe the rush of completing a job got the best of him. Maybe that's what it is. And so denial at first. And then as the days tick forward, he probably continues to go back to the sound. He might even have decided to play the sound back a few more times to see if his body had the same reaction.
Which it
When it
does.
did,
And it did.
he probably learned something new about himself that he's still coming to grips with.
Thank you for your time, Paz. Moving over to Chin Woo. Where were you? And what were you doing when you first saw the YouTube video of Popper crying, screaming, and talking about a beautiful fire?
I was just in my room. I was looking for Papa at the time. It had been too long, frankly, since she and I had gone on any of our explorations, pushed the limits as we tend to, and I was worried that she had gone off and looked to one-up me this time around, just do a case herself. And yeah, sure enough, it looks like that's what's happened. I would have thought that in my before time that this would have just been a hoax, like everyone else. Polly just upping the drama. But I know better now, and very concerned about her.
I'm sure she appreciates that concern. I know we do. Chen, what do you do for a living? You hinted at it, but I'd appreciate some clarity. What is it that you do for a living, and what do you like best about it?
You know, I tell people I'm an urban explorer. That tends to be enough for people to understand roughly what I do. I go into abandoned places, but more than that, really, for me on a personal level, I'm looking for the thrill. These types of places tend to be pretty dangerous. Floorboards are breaking, walls are collapsing. These are the kinds of places that feed into that certain high that I'm looking for. I supplement it with skydiving, bungee jumping, any of these other hobbies, but fundamentally for me, it is that sense of danger, and these abandoned places, they've got it. And the closer I can push it to the edge, the better. That's really was the foundation of my relationship with Papa, is who could go just a little bit further without stepping over the edge.
I can guarantee you this much. One of you two definitely stepped over the edge. What's your favorite physical feature, Chen? And then follow that up by, what's your least favorite physical feature?
It's going to be, favorite physical feature is going to be my face. By virtue of having pushed myself into all of these situations, there is a look of calm that I have on my face when I go through these incredibly dangerous adrenaline highs, and I keep my cool. I'm able to control what I look like, and it tends to come across really good on camera. And yeah, Chen's the kind of person who'll just like look in the mirror and kind of sculpt their face for what the situation demands. But they are intimately in control of their facial features.
Well said. And Chen's least favorite physical feature?
So Chen uses a little bit of makeup to hide the bags under their eyes. They tend to sleep quite poorly. They say it's a waste of time, right? When you're sleeping, you're not out there doing, and that's what Chen is all about. But the fact is, when Chen sleeps, Chen remembers, and there are things they would rather not remember, and that causes their face to sort of adjust in ways that they don't like, right? When they're sleeping, they're not in control of what they're looking like, and when they wake up and they see those bags under their eyes, it's a reminder of how poorly or not at all they've slept.
Beautiful articulation there, Heinrich. Hey, what's Chen expecting to find at the Laraine estate?
Chen is expecting to find danger. Chen thinks that there is definitely something of the quality that has caused them to become awakened. They are expecting to find Papa. They don't really think that Papa would be gone. Yes, it was a terrible video, but Chen hasn't processed the possibility that Papa might actually just have died or become seriously injured. That's not what happens to them. So what Chen is hoping to find is, frankly, a dangerous situation that he can pull Papa from in the ultimate one-upsmanship.
Okay. Thank you for that. Chen, my last question for you. You said you were in your room. You got the notification of Popper's video. You'd been looking for her, so serendipitous, I guess. But when you watched the video and you heard Popper scream, the sound felt like it was coming from below water, a nasty, gurgling, throaty, gagging sound. Why would Popper sound like she was underwater? And why are you the only person that hears the audio that way? I mean, every single time you play that video, you don't just hear her screaming from underwater. You feel a burning sensation in your lungs and this sharp stinging sensation in your nostrils, and you feel like you're gonna drown until you or someone else shuts that goddamn video off. The fuck is this, Chin? Where did Popper go? What did she get into? And really, most importantly, what I need you to answer for us is tell us the story of how your sister drowned.
Well, I don't know that the two are related. Let's be clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this video has corrupted or subpar audio is hardly surprising. My ears are attuned to this. This is kind of what I do for a living, right? I stream, I take videos. I'm very conscious of the ability of sound to make or break a presentation. So, this wasn't Papa's best moment. And yeah, if you don't take care of your audio, it's not going to take care of you. And so that's what's happened. The fact that I feel this way, it just reinforces the talent that I have for this. I'm more sensitive to it. That's the price you have to pay to really get quality material. So that's not a big surprise. Now, unrelated to any of that.
Unrelated.
It certainly is the case that after hearing that audio and not being able to stay awake any longer, which, that took a while, took a lot of hours, but eventually I do have to sleep just like everyone else. And it would have brought back the recollection of a pretty traumatic event from my childhood when my younger sister, my late sister, she drowned. She was under my care. I mean, as much as, a child could be responsible for that. I was doing other things. I was chatting, talking with friends, just being a kid. And she went off. And she did not come back after she went under.
I'm sorry to hear about that, Chin. It's interesting, though. You keep using her pronouns, but you haven't dropped her name. We'd like to know her name.
It is going to be Say Wu.
Okay. Thank you for your time there, Chen. Hopping over to Desi. Desi, where were you and what were you doing when you first saw the video, that YouTube video of Popper crying, screaming, and talking about a beautiful fire?
I was in bed, scrolling through some cat videos on the internet, like you do, of a late October evening. Making notes from my latest cases, making plans for when my girlfriend came back for the weekend plans, what we're going to do when she gets back. And the phone dinged. I picked it up.
I'm sorry she didn't come back, but I'm sure we'll talk about that later. What do you do for a living, Desi? And what do you like best about it?
I'm a PI. What I like best about it, I like having to hyper focus on other people's garbage for a while.
I can respect that energy more than you know right now. Sorry. Yes. Okay.
That's honestly my favorite thing about it. I get to dig deep and chase rabbits down holes and use all kinds of tools and not think about myself, my own life, my own problems, my own history, my own shortcomings, and get to focus on other people.
That's a great articulation. Hey, Desi, what's your physical or your favorite physical feature? And then, of course, follow that up with what's your least favorite physical feature?
My least favorite and my favorite feature are the same. And they are that I have very nondescript features. I am very average looking. Skin tone is not particularly light, not particularly dark, no obvious ethnic association, not big, not small, not built, not wimpy looking. I'm, like 5'8", and a half, and we're a size 10, and I have brown hair and kind of brownish eyes, and I don't make an impression on people. And that's my favorite feature because it's nice to be anonymous sometimes. It's nice to be able to change your appearance with a hat or a coat or a scarf and not have people realize that it was you who came in a week ago. But at the same time, I'm not striking in appearance, and I'm not an imposing fella, and I'm sometimes envious of wielding that aesthetic power that some people seem to have. I'm not short on charisma, but I'm not particularly strong on it either. I am just a very neutral entity in my world, which is powerful, but sometimes disappointing.
What a balance. Well said. Desi, what are you expecting to find at the Laraine estate?
Ooh, nothing good. That's what I have to say. Um, I've always known about these other explorer groups that have gone missing and
Yeah.
come up in conversation from time to time. Uh, but I've never really done much research about it until now. And there's just I've just all I've been able to find is some evidence that this has really happened, that these are true events and true disappearances, but not much in the way of investigations or answers or follow up. I don't see people begging for investigators to go down there and find their family members. I just it can't be good is what is the hunch feeling I've got. And the
Desi's
fact,
gut is probably right.
yeah.
Last question for you, Desi. When you watched that video in bed, when you heard Popper screaming, it wasn't her voice exactly, was it? It wasn't your voice either. It was its voice, that thing that was inside of you as a child, that thing that lived in you, fed off of you, that malicious entity that was pushed, pulled, driven out of you. That's the scream you hear when Popper Polly's mouth opens. That's the voice you hear that speaks to you about a beautiful fire. You haven't heard that voice in a long time. What did that thing want from you as a child, Desi? That thing that nested inside of you as a child?
I haven't talked about this in years.
We know.
It wanted me to give myself over to the fire, walk into the fire, let it become me. And I never could. I thought about it. At times I wanted to, just to make it stop, to have to stop fighting it. But I couldn't do it. I just never could do it. And I'm not sure if my struggles since are related to the possession or to the fact that I couldn't do that. That I wanted to and I couldn't. I struggle with that. Why? Why couldn't I walk into that fire? I have the sense that, or I feel now that I have the sense that my therapist would say that this is 20 years ago. That this is, all of my experiences since and my feelings now are coloring my memory, blah, blah, blah. That I feel like if I could have walked into that fire, then it all would have stopped one way or another. Things would not have been normal, but it would have stopped. The torture would have stopped. But I couldn't do it. And I wonder why. Still wonder why.
We don't have any answers for you, Desi, but you might have one for yourself by the time the game is finished. Two things I want to address with you all. These are things I actually, as a GM, should have covered prior to starting, but here we are live and we're going to do it now. Starting with, let's start with Paz. Can you verify the pronouns of your PC, please?
Yeah, he, him.
Thank you. Chin?
Gonna be they, them.
Desi?
He, him. I didn't know until the game started either.
Heinrich started dropping the they, them. So I was like, I never verify pronouns for these PCs. Let's do that now. The other thing that I didn't verify is there is no gear listed on your sheets as far as weapons or miscellaneous things. We're all very brilliant storytellers on this particular call. So whatever gear you choose to have, if it makes sense to you, it makes sense to me. I'm not going to make you roll anything. I'm not going to ask where the hell did you get that from. If you decided to bring spelunking gear, congrats. If you decided to bring a 9mm, congrats. If you have rat poison for some reason, I don't care. It's us. Whatever gear you have is the gear that you have. I'm not going to mollycoddle, babysit, or chase you around about it. Good to go?
Yep.
Okay. The Laraine family estate sprawls among towering weeping willows, its crumbling foundations slowly sinking into the surrounding swampy grounds. Mist consistently hovers even on the sunniest of days, as if the grounds themselves are trying to avoid notice. This home was built in 1858, but of course, Paz, you know that. Common knowledge that everyone knows is that Vincent Laraine, a brewer by trade, built this once grand mansion for his new bride, Aladanza, who died in the childbirth of their third child. Vincent committed suicide sometime shortly after, declaring that he did not wish to live without his love. The 3 children were raised by staff. Sorrow, grief, agony, trauma, and madness has since followed in the wake of the Laraine family descendants and this house. And now you're here. I'm going to tee up a quick handout of the exterior grounds. There have been persistent rumors about caves beneath the Laraine house, but no one really knows if that's true. Paz, you know that it's true. However, the recent popularity of urban exploration has increased vandalism and the presence of homeless squatters on the Laraine home. You all have already arrived and you've begun your investigations. You're outside of the main house, inside of the stables. Now, you can't help but to feel a slight moment of relief for being inside of the stables because you know that house is watching you. All 3 of you, you know it, you can feel it, and it just feels good to get a moment of reprieve where that house doesn't have like line of sight with you. And you're pushing around the stables. There's a small broken down office, stained glass that has long been broken. There's a nest of bats somewhere in the corner, and the entire area reeks of old feces and dried urine. You can see that this was a squatter's paradise, or just a place that people would dip away to indulge in some illegal activities. And on the inside of this wooden building, you can see the remnants of minor fires that have been long put out. But for the most part, it's still structurally intact and in sound. You have cleared this area and you are preparing to head towards the house. If there are any final preparations that you need to do or conversations that the 3 of you need to have, this is the time. You are not sure why the 3 of you know this, but each of you know for a certifiable fact that once you enter into that house, things are going to start moving very, very quickly.
Everybody hydrated? Everybody use the bathroom? Not going to have time to do these things once we get inside.
I smile. Yep.
My face doesn't change.
Anybody have any ideas what we're going to see in here?
I just
Where-
hope you brought enough water. You won't want to drink the water inside.
Just let me lead the way. I've
Whoa,
done this
whoa,
before.
whoa. Hold on a second. Okay, so the weather has just started here. All of a sudden.
We're going to hang in there the best we can, guys. Ohio is
Yeah.
being very Ohio right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Sorry,
here
it
I
was
thought
very
your
abrupt.
character had heard something.
Yeah, it was very abrupt. Do you hear that? I've got a one of those little backpacks with the water bladder on it on my back, not knowing how long we're going to be down there or whether we're going to find Popper or anybody else and what condition they're going to be in. It seems fair to bring that. It's got a couple quarts in it.
I'll retie my shoes and suggest everyone do the same.
They always forget to do that, don't they, Chin? Okay. As you all are preparing to leave, I would appreciate an investigate roll to whomever wishes to partake.
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
I am scoping this place out very carefully. I'm going to have a modified 18. And all right. I'll have my 2 questions, but let me know the order in which we'll go on that.
Wait.
Actually, let's go ahead and start with you and we'll just work our way around the table. What are your 2 questions, Chin?
What are the available means of ingress into this building?
Oh, we're talking about the main house?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. I will give that to you in just a second. I am teeing up the house map currently. The primary form of entrance is going to be on the ground floor through the front door. Though it's not depicted on the map, you can also come in through the rear of the ground floor, the servants' quarters or the kitchens. Structurally, probably the safest point of entry is going to be the entry door, the front door on the ground floor.
Want me to keep going, or shall we go around the table before?
Nope. Let's stay where you are. What's your second question? Then I'll give you what else you get.
Second question is going to be, is there any indication of what path Polly's crew might have taken?
That is a fantastic question. Yeah, I will give you, as you are futzing around here in the stable, on one of those entry hooks, like just the nail that's driven through the wood that you would hang keys, you see a hot pink carabiner, which you know is one of Popper's favorite things to leave around. So she was definitely in the stable at some point. And just given what you know about her and the paths she would have taken, chances are they would have gone in through the front door as well.
I'm gonna hook a dark blue carabiner onto hers and hit them both.
Okay. You connect the dark blue and the hot pink, and that's when you see the roll that I additionally called for as well. There's something strange about the black smudge marks on this wood, and as you're looking, you can see that there's a chalk outline, white, dusty. It's a circle, but let me tell you, Chin, this is probably one of the most perfect circles you've ever seen drawn. Just as you look at it, it's almost dizzying how perfect it is, and it's wrapped with some symbols that you've never seen before, something that you assume is letters, but you can't quite understand that it's letters because it doesn't look like any type of alphabet you've ever seen. And in the center of this circle, and it's about, I don't know, I'll say the size of like my head. In the center, you can see what undoubtedly looks like as the outline of some type of city. Like you were looking at like the silhouetted outline of somebody's downtown.
I imagine that Paz and Desi, to the extent they're looking over at me, just going to see me seemingly staring off into space, but actually just kind of getting lost in this image on the wall.
I love that. Let's hop over down to, let's go to Paz right now. Paz, how did you do if you chose to roll?
I did. I modified 15. So my 2 questions, I'm going to take a little liberty with my questions. Storyteller will let me know if I'm out of bounds, of course.
Yes, sir.
My first question as I look at that house is, which one of these windows is looking at me?
You're going to have to give me an actual second because there's an actual answer for this. The bedroom window. That window is watching you. That window sees you, and that window wants you.
And I think my second question would be, knowing likely that a direct walk up to the house is the most inviting for any visitor to a home. Where's the most uninviting entry point?
The servants' quarters. In addition to the 15 that you rolled, especially with Chin staring at something, you see that diagram that I described before, and Paz, with your particular background, you notice it, you understand it, you interpret it. This is part of a summoning ritual that would open the gates to Metropolis. Now, what is Metropolis? Metropolis is humanity's primordial home. It rests atop 7,777 hills. It's a city that's dead and empty and quiet, but it's eternal. It's an endless maze of architectural wonder, serpentine streets, and grotesque constructions. Sun never rises in the eternal city. That's what you've heard anyways. Time seemed to have either ground it to a halt or maybe the sun burned out for good. You spoke to a man past about 6 months ago who was wandering between dark alleys in New York City looking for a fix. He came upon a storm drain and a stairwell that led down. He allegedly visited this city. He returned. That's how you spoke to him. But like the others like him who you've spoken to about Metropolis, they all return fragmented, as if something within them has become disjointed, tweaked, or pulled taut. Most people dismiss this tale, Pass, but you know it to be true, and you know that the symbology on the wall is real.
Okay. So I'll likely look past Chen to the symbol for a moment, give it a moment of my time, and whisper something like, perhaps there's a passageway here.
Hopping over to Desi. Desi, how did you do if you chose to participate?
I have a modified 11.
Okay. That puts you in the ask one question, I believe, but I also believe that means I make a move or not. I'm looking at it now. Oh, no, I get to have some fun. You get to ask one question, Desi. It just comes at a cost.
For an 11?
For an 11.
Doesn't say that.
You sure? I'm looking at investigate 10 to 14. You can ask one question. The question comes at a cost determined by the GM.
It doesn't say that on the copy you gave me.
Oh, well, I downloaded this from from the website. Did I have to give you guys different copies? You're okay. We'll figure it out.
Mine says if it's up to 9, ask one question, but it leads my investigator to danger or introduces additional problems later on. For 10 to 14, it just says ask one question.
Oh, that is different than the one I just downloaded from their website. So I'm going to go ask one question plus a cost because it's narratively more funny.
I like Desi's version better.
This is the version you gave me.
I know. I thought I downloaded and printed the same version.
Oh,
Bullshit.
the illusion is crumbling.
It's crumbling. You're okay. I'm not going to do you too dirty.
Oh, the horror has already begun.
Mechanical
fine.
hiccups.
Fine. What is my question? Am I asking a question of you or of the house?
Anything you want. You're investigating the stables in the house right now. So you can ask anything regarding to the house. You can ask anything regarding to the stables, this mission. Open to your interpretation. Mike asked which window was watching him. You got options. Oh, we didn't teeter up.
Okay. What did Polly say she wanted to do here?
Oh, that is such a great question. As you're thinking about or thinking back to that conversation that you guys had in bed, Polly's number one objective was to one-up Chin. She wanted to find a way to one-up Chin, to humble them, to quote unquote put them in their place, which is a very peculiar conversation for her to be having because that's her best friend. But maybe that professional rivalry has tipped a bit too far. And
Okay.
I'm gonna hold my move, your cost, for another moment. I'm gonna pocket it because I can. And it makes me happy. Anything else you
But
guys
those
want
are
to do?
deep pockets.
Deep pockets, honey, especially in a Kult game. I got time.
I think, Desi and Paz, you would see Chen looking to the house and specifically the front door. And there's I can tell you that Chen is going to want to go through the front door. You can see that in their eyes, not their face, but their eyes. And if you give a moment's thought as to why, if that's the way that Polly seemed to go and have disappeared, you realize that Chen is already playing this one-upsmanship game of, well, if Polly went this way and something bad happened, then I'm going to go this way, but I'm going to make it through whatever she could not.
Mm.
Good. Good, because we're trying to find her. So
And I'll lead the way, absent objections.
No objections here.
Mm-mm.
Chin, you lead the way up through the main road past the massive wrought iron fence that has the stylized L on it for Laraine Estate and has some hops and some other fun fruit depictions of things that you would use in a brewery. Obviously, the home was built by a brewer, and the gates have long been compromised by squatters coming in and out, urban explorers coming in and out. I mean, it is nothing for you to just slip through some type of crack or corner or under something to get onto the main road that's leading up to the front of this house. It is a 3-story Victorian mansion, and the house almost feels to the three of you like it's playing hide and seek. As it's jumping in and out of view from just these gorgeous but very thematic, overly sprawled out weeping willows. That window, that bedroom window pass, you could swear for a moment that it winks at you. There's no way that's possible. Maybe that was just a trick of the light, but it feels like it's satisfied that you're coming towards it. And you are able to hit the front door right there, Chin. You come up on a house that has black paint that's peeling off in long strips. And it has long, narrow windows. And you're there at the front door.
The door ajar, or is it closed?
Just slightly ajar.
Okay. I would like to roll my Daredevil. I think I'm entering a dangerous situation. I know
Okay.
that. I know I'm doing something
Powers
seemingly
flickering.
reckless,
Stick with me, guys.
But I'm very confident of my abilities. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm going to roll Daredevil, which is going to be a roll plus perception.
Ooh, okay.
That's going to be a 12. That
Okay.
allows me to choose 2 edges. I can spend them anytime during this scene. So
Okay.
just so we're clear, I have pockets too.
Oh, deep ones too. Oh, daddy.
So I've got 2 edges.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all we need to worry about for right now. So with a look back, actually, I'm not even going to look back at Paz and Desi. I'm just going to listen to their footsteps, make sure that they are reasonably in the area. I'll swing the door open, and I know that this is kind of the threshold. You know, when you are on like a mountain bike going over a lip, and you know you're going to be moving. There's no stopping now, or you're stepping outside the plane. This is the moment for Chen.
This is it. This is the moment.
Likewise, as I return, as I arrive here at the Laraine Estate, I'm going to be rolling 6 cents.
Ooh. Okay.
Because I have an intuition for things, good or bad. It's in the blood. Oh, wow. And that's a 10. So I can choose up to 2 options. And so I'm just going to hang on to them for now and play them as needed.
Everyone has their pockets. Okay. Chin, you open into the entryway This is a large, decrepit room, strangely free of marks of squatters. There's a fireplace taking up a large portion on one wall. It's made of sandstone. It has the following motto, Dum Esperial Sparrow. While I breathe, I hope, carved into its face with stylized sprites with like the big puffy cheeks. This room smells of wet wood and mold, underlaid with a musky scent of rats and a lingering trace of honey. That's all that you currently see in this room.
I will take a step inside.
Okay. The wood whines about the weight beneath your feet, but otherwise it's quiet. That honey smell is actually more of a taste is peculiar, though.
May I observe the situation?
Yeah, you most certainly can. Give me just a quick check and give me a quick check to see if I even need you to. Nope, this isn't worth a roll. I'm just going to give it to you, effectively. I'm not just going to feed you rolls if you don't need them. I'll just give you what you need from this one. So you are looking around the room with a bit of intentionality, and there's a glint of something just on the inside of one of those angels with the big puffy cheeks right there by the fireplace. The light catches it oddly coming through the window, and it kind of sparks your attention.
It looks like there's something inside the cheeks.
Looks like there's something maybe just behind it, outside of you. You just got to approach it and just look on the other side of the sprite.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. You approach and you see Popper Polly's tag. You see that hot pink, hard eyes, manhole cover lid tag. Or it looks like she's either tracing her steps or was very coyly putting this here. And as you look on the opposite side of this cheek, you think to yourself like, ugh, she would place it here, of all places. But something else happens to you, Chin, while you are here. You can feel your blood pressure start to go up. Your heart rate is increasing to the point that you can hear your own heart thumping in your ears. Your breathing quickens and your temperature goes up. You notice that your nipples begin to fill with blood and they become extra sensitive. And you find yourself incredibly aroused standing here at this fireplace. And you're trying to reconcile how this is happening so quickly and so fast. And you turn around and you look directly at Paz, and for whatever reason, you know that Paz is doing this to you.
I think Paz and Desi would see Chen like awkwardly kind of fondling the cherub and the tag. I'll use one of my two edges to try and discover the threat before it discovers me. So I'm sort of mid-threat, but I'm hoping to know like what is. I'm trying to understand more about what Paz is doing to me. How that would even be possible.
How is that possible? How is Paz doing it to you? And you look at Paz as you said you were awkwardly stroking the cheek of this thing?
Yeah, where the tag is.
Okay. Where the tag is, you're stroking that cheek, you're stroking that tag, and you look over at Paz, and you look over at the sprite, and you look over at Paz. And when you look at the sprite, the concrete of the eyes blinks at you, and you don't just see two eyes, you see at least dozens of them looking back at you. And you realize in that moment that it's not Paz, there is something else in this house, and it wants you. And you can't deny it in this moment, Chin. You want it to. And these dozens of eyes blink at you. They flutter and then they just slowly shut. And I need to keep it together, please.
I need to use a disadvantage here.
Oh, I like this. Tee me up.
Popper's tag triggers my victim of passion disadvantage.
It sure does.
So, which is where my investigator, my investigation thing was different because I have crime scene investigator advantage from you. That's what
That's what it is. Okay.
referring to. So I need to roll well. Please roll well.
That looks good.
That looks good.
14.
Better than mine.
Ooh.
Okay, so the passion awakens within me. And you take one hold. So what do I have to do?
That's the reading that's on that one is the GM takes one hold.
Yes.
Okay. This is great. I'm going to be able to tee this up all together at the same time. I'm going to give you a quick hold on this one, Desi. Let me reconcile Chin. Chin, how did you do?
I've got a 8, and
Okay.
so I need you to instill a condition as I resist this.
Oh.
Gonna give me a -1 where this condition would be a hindrance.
You know what I like in this one? How do I feel about a you become angry, -1 stability? Yummy?
Okay. Yeah.
We can work some anger into that one, which absolutely works. Hopping back over to, oh, I'll be able to tie this in so beautifully. Actually, before I hop back over to Desi, let's hop over to Paz. Paz, you can feel cold, clammy, small hand slip into your right hand, almost as if even before you look down, even before you see it, it looks like a child is trying to just squeeze their hand into yours.
Interesting. Okay, so I'll use an edge from Sixth Sense,
Okay.
and I'll ask whether or not it wishes me good or ill. I won't ask, I'll know. Does this child wish me good or ill?
Okay. This child wishes you good. And when you look down, you see a small girl, maybe 8, 9 years old. Her hair is pulled back, but it's still slipping out of the bottom of this big white bonnet, and she's just wearing this big long sheet. She doesn't look quite period appropriate for 2018, and she looks up to you, and she says, "Why isn't Mama waking up?" And she looks over to the fireplace where Chin is more or less fondling a sprite, and you can see a table that's been set up there. There's a woman on it, and you just recognize it from the folds of her breast and her feet, and she's wrapped in a white sheet, and you think back, it's like, oh, you know what? When Aladonza Laraine died in childbirth, they kept her body before the fireplace for 2 days before they had the funeral. And this child that means you well is holding your hand and looking up to her, and she's a spitting image of a photo you've seen of Aladonza. And to be honest with you, she kind of looks a lot like you.
So while it seems that they're distracted with the sculpture fondling and all sorts of fun things they might be finding by the fireplace, I will simply lean down very carefully to the child and say, I don't know, but I'm sure we'll find out.
And she nods. She was supposed to read me a story. She's not going to read to me anymore, is she?
No, baby, I don't think so.
Will you read to me?
You can. Paz suddenly gets the constriction of requirements and guidelines around him, and that's sort of, the thing with this estate he's been trying to shrug off, and he says, in a little bit, sure.
And she kind of knocks her head into your hips, and she's looking on to what you know is her mother. And she just goes, "Thank you." And she's continuing to hold your hand.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. Like what we're going to go and talk about Desi with right now. Desi, this one hold that you're getting on this beautiful roll that you just gave me. There's a sensation that you're feeling that something is riding you. It feels very similar to the way Popper rides you, but it's deeper somehow. It's more intimate somehow. There's a I don't know how else to describe it other than it feels like there's this beautiful fire burning inside of you. And it doesn't make any sense that you're experiencing this because you're standing up, but your hands are going around the hips and the waist of something. You're feeling and navigating through this hot burning sensation, and it feels good. This is a sensation that you have never experienced before. And you look up at whatever it is that has you mounted, that has you pinned to the floor, but you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. But you can't actually see it, can you? Because your eyes have long been burned out. There's nothing there, but you can still see whatever this is, and you're close. You are so close. And when you blink out of it, there are eyes all over this room. 10,000 unblinking eyes embedded into the sprites, embedded into your friends, into the floor, into the walls, and they're all looking at you, and something says, "Welcome home."
I try to release, but I can't. I still can't.
That fire is calling. It's calling. And it feels so good, Desi.
I want to so badly. So badly. I want to reach it. I want to touch it. I want it to be in me and around me and part of me. And I can't let go.
The child looks up to you, Pass. "I have to go."
Okay. Be safe.
She nods. "You too. Tell your friends I said hi."
I nod.
And this is you all currently in the entryway of the Laraine estate. Welcome home.
I would propose that because Chen is feeling angry, and anger that comes from the realization that the game this house is going to play is not a game of simple danger, which is what Chen feels comfortable handling. But this is going to be an effort to turn ourselves against one another. And to me, that feels incredibly low. That's not the game Chen wants to play. And so this cherubim sculpture, it's an old house, so whether it is affixed to the wall or whether it is freestanding, I imagine that Chen sort of breaks it off and it falls to the ground between the three of us and maybe causes sort of a pretty loud noise as it breaks and shuts all of us briefly out of our own little headspaces there. And I'll say, be careful. It's gonna try and turn us against each other. And the voice that Chen has sounds angry. Their face still completely smooth, emotionless, but that's what you hear. And Chen will ask, upstairs?
Not yet. The room over here first. I point to my right.
I just showed a handout to them.
To have Paz go through, or if you want Chen to continue leading the way. Chen's not going to say no to that, but
oh no. I step to the right with ease. Fluid motion.
All right, advancing.
Okay, Desi, you with them?
Yeah, I'm lagging behind just a little bit, but I'm moving as I recover from whatever the hell that was.
Paz, were you gesturing towards the kitchen, so we'll go clockwise, or the drawing room going counter?
No, I'm headed towards the drawing room.
Drawing room, great.
You guys move forward towards the drawing room. This was once the entertainment hub of the house. There's a grand piano in the alcove that's, kind of centered in between one of the bow windows. It was probably a beautiful stained glass window, but whatever it was, it's just broken and shattered all over the floor. There's another fireplace in this room that has the motto Ardenter Amo, ardently love. And it features an angel holding a ribbon that it's, carved into and waving around. And as you look around this room, it has a subtle darkness to it. Maybe it's just the way that the house is facing, or maybe it's what's left of those curtains. But this room feels a bit darker, and your nostrils are assaulted with the smell of sweet yeast, almost like you would get in a bakery. And if the three of you listen closely enough, no roll necessary, you can hear soft moaning coming from somewhere beneath you. And in the far corner, there is a sopping, wet, children-sized bathing suit. And Chinwoo, you're going to have to tee this up to us. What did the bathing suit look like that your sister drowned in?
We were kids, and she even more so, being younger than myself. So I imagine that it was very clearly a small child's bathing suit. So probably had like yellow ducks on it on a blue background.
And that's everything that you all see in this room. That smell is so wet. And it's getting heavier.
Step back into the entryway.
Daredevil Chin steps back. Okay.
I'm going to go investigate the fireplace.
Okay. I'll just hop over. Desi, what are you going to be doing?
I'm gonna cautiously approach all of the inanimate objects in this room. All these little statuettes and things, and see if I can find a non-supernatural explanation for the vision that I had there.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay. I'll start backing around the corner here. Chin, you've stepped yourself back into, the hallway, actually back into the entryway, and you're eyeing that bathing suit, and that bathing suit is eyeing you. Paz, you go to investigate. Did you tell me the fireplace? You go to investigate the fireplace, and you can feel the old residue of heat coming off of it, even though there's no embers, there's nothing burnt. This is a cold, ice cold fireplace, but you can feel heat. But the closer you lean in to the fireplace, you can hear more of that satisfied moaning and gasping coming from what doesn't make sense to be beneath the fireplace. And as you step back and you look around, you're thinking it's like, this is coming from beneath the house. It's just a matter of how we get down there beneath the house.
Right. I don't, I'd probably give the swimsuit too much of a more than a once over. It's clearly out of era. Strange that it's here, but I do make a note of it because it's out of step with the rest of this house. And then I'll head back to the entryway.
Okay. You're heading back to the entryway, Paz, and you don't see this, but Chin, as you're idling there, you do. There is a woman with long black hair who is wearing a beautiful summer dress. And again, not quite period appropriate. This is a handful of decades ago. And it looks like she's been crying. You can see that her cheeks are puffy and tears have been coming down her face, and she's trying to wipe it off. And she has a plate or platter in front of her that she's carrying with trembling hands. And it looks like there are fairy cakes on it, which is kind of like a dessert. And it's actually, as she passes you with it, you're catching that yeasty smell that I told you before. And she looks to you and she goes, I'm sorry, these are for the children. And she has this really heartbroken look in her face, and you can see in an apron pocket that she's wearing that there's a bottle of arsenic that's there, and that the lid is off of it. And she goes, "Oh, if you'll excuse me." And she says, "Children, it's time for your dessert."
Do I hear children?
No, well, yeah. Yeah, there are kids in that room playing. One of them is on that grand piano. That child slides off. And there are 5 total kids that appear to be running around that room, and they all go and they sit before the fireplace. And they're all excited, and they have their napkins out, and it looks like they're getting ready to receive their favorite treat.
This is in the drawing room, yeah.
This is in the drawing room. You're just seeing it from the entryway hall point. And I'm going to tee in Desi with this as well. Desi, I know you specifically asked me for something non-supernatural, but the house gives you what it wants. You are looking at the mundane statues and the figures, and you're, hitting keys on the piano. And that's when you're almost pulled into this vision as well of a woman coming in with 5 fairy cakes and 5 very excited children who are ready to eat. And one of the kids pulls on your pockets and says, "Come on, Desi, you can share mine."
I follow that child.
Okay.
I think Chen was looking to see if either Desi or Paz noticed or interacted with the swimsuit. Because Chen's first reaction was sort of shock and stepping back.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're thinking they're the only ones who can see it. And the fact that Paz takes note of it but doesn't say anything about it or doesn't investigate it too closely just reinforces that, right? So
Yeah.
Chen thinks this is just inside their mind. And seeing this again, Chen is going to think it's an apparition because Chen is realizing that they're seeing things.
Mm-hmm.
And noticing that Desi is responding to what Chen thinks is an apparition, Chen is kind of locked in place, and there is a strange congruence happening with the bathing suit in one corner and Chen not going towards it, and this potentially dangerous scene playing out with children and Chen also not doing anything.
Oh, that paralysis hurts. Paz, you're not seeing this apparition. You're not seeing this active memory, but you can feel the hairs on your arm and the back of your neck starting to stand up, and you know that something is happening. And you're running through a Rolodex of the stories you've heard from your family, the books that you've read, the history, and you're trying to think to yourself, like, the drawing room, the drawing room, the drawing room, the drawing room. What is this electric force? And I'm feeling the draw. And then that's when you remember that in the drawing room, Miss Marcelina Laraine poisoned 3 of her 5 children by serving arsenic to them in fairy cakes.
I give the non-existent eyes, which are watching me, a nod, a very slow one. And I'm going to step past Chen and sort of tap them on the elbow and say, "Let's get going."
And Chen will say, and sort of stutter for a moment, shake their head, and say, Desi, you good?
Desi, this child has led you right in front of the fireplace. It is roaring right now. It's a wonderful heat. Well, we all know about how you are with fire anyways. And they're calling you to the ground to sit down with them. And they rip off half of their napkin and they put it in your lap. They've promised to share their fairy cake with you.
Feel like I need a roll for keeping it together.
I love that idea. That feels wonderful to me.
Let me check my... Okay, so they're not trying to possess me, right?
No.
Okay. All right. I will roll.
That's not terrible.
13. I don't have any advantages for that.
Okay.
Okay. Do I choose the condition?
You will be. It looks like Heinrich actually teed that up to me, but rules as written, at least on my player moves chart. You guys must have a different one that I sent you. You get to choose one, so you can choose one of those conditions.
Mm. I think I'm gonna become sad.
Okay. I think that's a good one for this particular case. This mother is very intentional about which child gets which fairy cake. And when she gets to the young one next to you, her fingers or her hands are going between two fairy cakes, and they look exactly the same. You know that they're not. And she hands this child a fairy case, and she says, "You're very sweet to share with your friend." And she moves past you and continues to distribute the fairy cakes. And this child takes it and she tears it in half, and she puts, one half. Sorry, somebody's trash can just ran down the street. And she and she puts one of the fairy cakes in your lap.
I wrap the napkin around it if I actually can physically touch it.
You can, and you do.
And I tell her, I need to go with my friends now, but I'll save this for later. Thank you very much.
And she nods.
I ruffle her hair
And she smiles.
as I stand up thank you very much. What was your name?
And she goes to open her mouth to speak, and nothing but just this pool of black viscous pours out of her mouth. It begins to stain her teeth. It runs down her cheeks and her chest, and she begins to convulse along with two of the other children.
Well, that's
And
disturbing.
May I try and act under pressure?
Oh, you sure can. Talk to me.
So I've got a modified 14, so close.
So close.
I am seeing, because I'm seeing the scene as well, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that Desi is not consuming the cupcake. I was going to call it the worst game of Russian roulette ever. But there's not really a good game of Russian roulette. So because it's a 14, there's a delay, and Tara, leave it to you how you want to sort of construe it. But Chen is going to head over your way and try and pull you away as the scene plays out with this apparition opening its mouth. But up to you whether you go along with it or not.
I know that I'm happy. I'm glad for Chen's intervention. I know that I'm not seeing something real. It's nevertheless quite horrifying, and I was trying to extract myself from the scenario without doing something stupid or making the spirits angrier. So I'm happy to let Chen drag me away, although I don't think I can rip my eyes away from this scene as they're doing that.
And Chen, I'm going to slide in here looking at least at my player moves. It looks like the GM reveals an unexpected outcome, a high price, or a difficult choice. And
we've got all of these different versions of the sheets.
I know, it's so good, right? On episode 2, I should make sure I have your guys' sheet.
Mine says that the player gets to do whatever they want with +3 advantage.
Is that what yours says? That's a good sheet. Where'd y'all get that one from? I sent it to you.
I'll simply give you more to work with GM by pointing out that Chen is still angry. So when they are pulling away Desi, it's probably not soft.
Okay. So they're yanking or more or less tearing at him, trying to get him out of this scene. And I think what I'm going to do, this is on the fly, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it and stick the landing. You're yanking and you're pulling at Desi. Desi isn't necessarily resisting, at least from my understanding from Tara. And when you turn around to exit this room, you're looking face to face at that mother, and she looks at you and she says, "What did you do? I only had to do 3. You're making me do 4. What are you doing?"
I will stumble my way, pulling Desi through this figure. I don't know whether I will collide, but that is a possibility.
You go through. It feels chilling. A cold that you haven't felt since that last time you were on some expedition in some Arctic place. But it's chilling. It cuts through to your soul. And she's screaming at you now. She said, "It only had to be 3." Child calls in the background, "Mama, what's wrong? What's wrong with them?" And she points at you. It's like it's their fault. This is the second child that they've killed. And I need you to roll me a keep it together, please.
That's not a good roll. Let's see. Keep it together is willpower. Yeah, that's just gonna be a straight up 7.
The strain is too much for your mind to handle. The GM chooses your reaction. Cower powerless in the threat's presence. Panic with no control over your actions. Suffer emotional trauma or suffer life-changing trauma. And you know what feels yummy right now? Being that this is the second little girl that you have killed in your lifetime. Let's go with suffer life-changing trauma. Knock your stability down by 4.
Ooh. So I have become shaken, I believe.
Yeah, the door shuts behind you. And you hear that mother's voice say, "I'm out of fairy cakes. You'll have to put on the bathing suit." And the door shuts.
The door shuts. Chen kicks the door, not like trying to break into the door,
Yeah.
but more like Chen wanted to kick the door closed. But it's already closed. And Chen is just like low kicking the door as though to make sure that it's really closed, just really stuck in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It collides into the hinges. It thumps.
And then paradoxically, Chen will look back over at Desi, who got pulled out, and again very angrily go, "You good?"
I am not good, but I'm still functioning. I keep repeating to myself that these are not real images that we are seeing. We are not real images that we are seeing. These are not real images. But it's disturbing to watch them anyway. Let's can we go find these dungeons or caverns or whatever we're looking for? Come on. Let's stop playing with imaginary children.
Quote board.
I'll look over to Paz to see what they are going to do, because in Chen's current state, Chen would probably still lead the way on things, but Chen's not going to choose which way that is.
Well, I think the tunnels, if they exist, these caves have to be down. But I need to go up.
For what?
I need to see what the rest of the house looks like before we go down.
Because how is that going to help us find Holly?
We don't know exactly where Holly is anyway.
We know she's underground somewhere, don't we?
No, we know the video was taken underground. You two do what you want. I'm heading upstairs.
By yourself? No way.
Okay. Well, the stairway's
Yeah.
wide enough for the three of us. I step around them. Just a little.
Just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any of us being by ourselves in this house. Jen, should we go with him?
Yeah, Chen will follow if Desi does not seem to sort of have a clear like, oh no, we are going to the kitchen instead, or some clear alternative. Chen's got to keep moving, right? Doesn't matter if it's towards danger, just got to keep moving. But Paz, maybe you can tell us, is this a case where Paz is heading up first, or where Chen is going to continue giving in to their danger high and lead the way?
I'm happy to let Chen lead the way
Okay.
if you have the gumption, of course.
Yeah,
Ooh,
no, Chen will this is what Chen does. This is in a twisted way reassuring, right? To know that they are still able to be the one to take the biggest risk. So they will, after you step around them, they will determinedly step around you, and they will head up the stairs first.
Good old Southern do-si-do.
gotta love it. Chen, you begin heading up the stairs. There are 111 of these stairs to get to the very top, and each step creaks under the weight of your footfalls. And as you continue up the stairs, there are, various landings. And on the first landing, you come to, it looks like a little small altar has been erected. It's on like a little wicker basket that's about 3 feet off of the ground. It has 2 or 3 burnt out candles on them that are just like really low to the point that the wick couldn't catch anymore. And it looks to be a handful of trinkets, daubles, just little small things that are kind of scattered around, along with a book and a Bible.
Chen's gonna wait for everyone else to catch up and see what they interact with.
Mm-hmm.
Interacting with anything. We're just following.
This is on the like a landing, or
This
is
is
this
on a
on the top?
landing, yeah. So you
Okay.
hit the landing, you turn the corner, it's a little alcove there with whatever this presentation is.
I'd probably look at the book that's not the Bible.
Okay. You look at the book that is not the Bible, and when you pick it up, from what you can tell, this looks to be some type of a family genealogy book for the Reyes family. And just no role necessary, as you're just like quickly flipping through it. Anytime Desi Reyes's name appears, it looks like the name has been violently scratched out.
Hmm. Well, I'm a sort of person that likes to make sure things are in the right place, and so I'll turn to Desi and say, "I think this is for you."
I take it and thumb through it.
Yeah, it's your genealogy, babe. It's your ancestry that goes back. But every single mention of your name, it looks like it's been scratched out. There's a portrait section, almost like an index in the back. Your eyes have been scratched out. Your nostrils are scratched out. Your mouth is scratched out. Any notion of Desiree as someone has violently tried to erase out of this particular book, and it's unsettling.
Hmm. I cannot conjure an explanation for this. I'm going to put the book back.
Okay. You put the book back. You knock over a couple things just, with your shaking hand. There's a small skull of some animal that has Christmas lights that are pulled through its empty eye sockets. There are 2 or 3 more of those hot pink carabiners. And you still got the Bible that's sitting there. And then there's a Ziploc bag filled with what looks like human hair.
It's the same color as Polly's.
No, no. This is very long, straight black hair.
Does it fit the description of anybody we've read about and looking up the history of this place?
Oh, there's a question of the day for our PI investigator. You're thinking back to what you know about this house and the things that you've come across, and there was a fellow by the name of, oh, well, I don't really have to describe him because he's walking out into view now. This is William Laraine. You know
The
that
William Laraine?
the William Laraine, yeah, the one who committed suicide here on this very staircase. He steps down, and all three of you see this, and he looks very somber. He has hair in his hand, a lot of it, a lot of human hair is spilling through his finger, long black hair. And he looks to the three of you, but he looks, specifically at you, Desi, and he goes, I couldn't make her love me. I couldn't make her love me. Why didn't she love me?
Who didn't love you?
And he nods and he says, my wife.
I'm sorry.
There's still a chance for you. I think she still loves you. But she's so distracted right now. You should get to her quickly. I don't think she's going to have much time.
Where is she?
Beneath the house. With it. With them.
Is it safe?
No. But if you love her, it's worth trying, right?
How can we get her out safely?
I don't think you can get her out. I think you have to find a way to make peace with her being here. And you being here. If you'll excuse me. And he steps aside from you, and under this wicker stand, he pulls out a footstool, and out of nowhere you can see the manifestation of a noose appearing. And he stands up and he's beginning to fit the noose over his head. He looks at Paz and he looks at Chin, and he just says, I couldn't make her love me. So I tried everything.
So we all heard this dialogue, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will turn my back to the suicide that's about to happen.
Yep.
And I'll leave it to the GM for when that rope snaps. But I'll look at Paz and I'll look at Desi and I'll say, it's all bullshit. This is all bullshit. We're not going to do better the longer we are in this place. We need to get Papa and her crew. We need to do it now. I think we have to head down.
And Chin, as you're talking, he opens up his mouth. It almost looks like the back hinges of his jaw drops maybe 3 inches longer than it should be. And he starts shoving this woman's hair into his mouth.
Yeah, Chen's just going to keep talking. And Chen would like to roll their awe-inspiring to try and be a boss.
I love it. I'm going to go ahead and give you that roll just as this gentleman is going to walk off of this stool.
Let's see how this goes. It's going to be roll plus charisma. Oh no! So Chen is
Holy
trying
shit.
to sound like they are being a boss, like they are putting us in a direction, and they are centering themselves as well. They're finding their core again. That's what Chen is thinking. On the outside, though, that is not apparent. Chen's face has sort of broken. That stress that they've been experiencing is just really showing. And rather than a statement of determination, it's coming across as a statement of profound insecurity.
Oh.
As Chen rolls a 6 for trying to be awe-inspiring.
Oh.
And GM, the result here is people feel like you're the leader, but one of them tries to challenge you for it. The GM makes a move.
Oh, I feel like the challenger is going to 100% be Paz because we know where Paz is going and why. The
Yeah.
GM makes a move. I don't want to do a hold move. I want to do a move right now. I'm going to basically Diamond buy me some time to review my moves really fast because I want to do something
Certainly.
fun here.
Paz will, in almost a sort of laissez-faire way, as William is beginning to gobble down hair and beginning to go through the throes of suicide, Paz will sort of stare up, arms just in wide open, really, just slightly, looking up at William do this final act, and he'll watch the act in its completion because what Paz wants to do is learn what must be done at some point. He needs to experience that, and after the act is done, and while this sort of I don't know, blabbering is going on from Chen about I'm getting his best rah rah speech about what needs to be done. Paz has completely blown them off, and is looking through the table, sorting through the bits that are still here, the skull, the Bible, that sort of thing, to see if there's anything that can be taken away from the situation, something that can be gleaned.
Oh.
So, as a student of the occult,
Mm-hmm.
Paz has a mystical discipline. Understands entities and phenomena, and is in a position here with some people distracted by William going through his final swan song, and
Yeah.
is looking to collect a few things that might be necessary along the way. And so that's sort of how he's going to oppose what Chen is doing, is by not giving them the time of day.
Wow, you're icing him effectively.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Chin, how are you reconciling the fact that you've given this brilliant speech about what you need to be doing, but you know it's falling on hollow ears? They don't respect you. They don't see you. You're not in charge here. You're not the field commander here. You're nothing here.
Chen's just gonna keep going. You just double down. If something's not working, you just gotta keep trying harder. If you are scared, you just push through it. So Chen's just gonna keep talking and making things sort of worse. Chen is trying to exercise authority, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, they are going to go into whatever direction the majority of the group is going to go. So they're not really interacting with the outside world right now. This is all just like a struggle inside. Like when they see that Paz is sort of ignoring them, going about it. Like, well, the answer to that is you just gotta try harder. You just gotta try and be more inspiring, right? So that's what Chen will do. And that's sort of just going to keep going until Paz and Desi decide what to do. At which point, Chen will perhaps pretend that this is actually what they were going to do all along.
I pick up the Bible, and I sort of sarcastically tap Chen on the chest with it,
Oh,
and I say, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as prophet of the nations." And I give them one final tap and say, Jeremiah 1, verse 5, why don't you read a book? And I step up the stairs.
Chen will shut the fuck up.
Chin, you shut the fuck up. And I'm going to get right back to you here in just a second, Chin, because I think what I'm going to do is have some fun with you, and I'm going to use my GM move to separate them. That feels fun right now.
Splitting the party?
It's the best thing to do in horror. Desi, are you heading up the stairs after Pass?
No, I'm gonna go with Chen.
Wow. I love this. I love this. So, Chin, you're standing on this landing. I hate to say it, but almost in a state of humiliation, in a way. And you've been thumped physically and morally with a Bible. William's body is swinging. His hips keep colliding with the edge of the stairwell as he continues to swing, and black oily hair is spilling out of his mouth, but way more than he originally put in there from the wife that he just killed. It just seems to be like a tapeworm of black oily hair just continually spilling out of his mouth. And in addition to this, separate them, I'm going to give you the rest of this grand stairwell. You look, and just the slight breeze that William's body is causing runs a crumpled piece of paper over your feet, and you can't help but to look at it. I mean, it's there, and you need something to grasp onto at this point. And when you pick it up and you look at it, it's just a crumpled note, and it's filled with deranged poetry about someone's love for a heavenly, multi-eyed creature. My question for you is this. It's not that you're in a bout of madness, one, it's a different system, but more or less just with this lost role. My question for you is, do you read this poetry aloud, or do you read it to yourself?
I think I would just read it to myself.
Anyone reading this to themselves will have a vivid memory of a love they have not yet experienced. And I need you to tell us what that is.
A love that they have yet to experience?
Yeah.
A memory of a love they have yet to experience.
Memory of a love they've yet to experience. I think perhaps the memory of parents that actually care and love about you, as opposed to just blaming you for things that happened in the past, and every time they look at you, seeing someone who's not you, but your younger sister.
Ouch.
That was a tough childhood for you, wasn't it, Chin? Because they never did quite look at you the same after that.
Yeah, I'll crumple up that note, and I will say to Desi, we gotta find Papa. Let's go. And Chen is going to try and direct. I mean, the fact that Desi is still there, leadership. Yes, I have inspired someone. Paz is crazy, right? Paz is far gone. So, fuck him. Let's go. Let's go into those tunnels. Let's go find Papa.
With that last shred of dignity, you guys head down. There was just a thread, and you were able to pull on it. Chen, good for you. Paz, you make it up the 111 stairs, and you are on the second floor. I think I know where you're going, but I'll always ask. Where are you heading?
Oh, in any sort of plantation house, the place that you would want to go would be the master bedroom. That's the window. That's the window that's been staring up at me, so I might as well stare back.
Okay. This window has been looking at you, and you have the courage to look back. You make your way to the main bedroom, and as soon as you open the door, there is a substantial marital bed that just dominates the room. There's a carved wooden headboard that rises to the ceiling and a frame for curtains, but they're just kind of like ragged bits of velvet at this point. The iron rings still look like they're in pretty good shape. There's a fireplace in this room that's bricked up. There's a rocking chair sitting directly before it. And for some reason, there are black feathers that drift in the breeze. And this entire room smells of fresh air mixed with bird shit. And there in the center of the massive bed is just, it almost looks like a crime scene to you. Paz, the latter part of the bed is filled with blood and tissue. And there are towels and sheets surrounding the bed too that are also filled with blood and tissues. These black feathers are getting stuck in it. And it's not overly a reach of your imagination to imagine what this room is trying to tell you. Or at least what the bed is trying to tell you.
All right. I suppose I'll step in.
You
And
hear a voice that says, "You're back."
I look over my shoulder.
Yeah, you look over the shoulder, and what do you see? Describe to us what your future wife looks like.
She is probably 5'8", 5'9". She's got slightly tan skin from having lived in the South most of her life. She has a deep and a sort of attentive stare. So she has wonderful green eyes, luxuriously long, curly red hair that probably frizzes too much in the humidity of the South.
Mm.
It probably takes her forever to straighten it. And she complains, of course, unendingly to Paz when he wants to go out to dinner and wants her to wear her hair down. She just cannot simply abide it most times. But of course, dutifully, she does it for him. She is curvy in every single right way possible. And even some that probably draw looks from the folks at church when they're forced to go for Easter Sunday. She is smart and sharp, like a knife. And she promised him that life would not be easy, but it would be full. And that is the agreement that they had. Or will have.
Or currently have. It's
possible.
so strange here in this house. She's there in a white tank top that is just splashed with various colors of paint. She is wearing short shorts, and she's completely barefoot. Her hair is a tangled, frizzy mess right now, not only from the humidity, but also just that she's been working. And she has a paintbrush in her hand, and she goes, I can't find a color that makes sense for this room.
Take a deep breath. And I try to steady myself, knowing that the house is purposely shoving this message in my face. Because it knows that I want nothing to do with what it's showing me. Because obviously coupling is the last thing that I have on my mind ever in life. And so I take a moment and mentally prepare myself to accept the cruelty that the house is going to exact on me.
And she looks at you, she's like, what's that face for? She was always very direct.
Very. Have you considered something in the sky blue or steel blue range here? White trim. It could look fairly nice.
And she looks at the walls and she says, I suppose you're home early.
Yeah, I didn't think I would be here this early, but here I am.
And she looks to you and her eyes narrow a bit, and she drops the paintbrush on the ground. The paint splashes across her ankles and yours, and you recognize it's that exact color that you just called, that sky electric blue. And she steps in on you with a good degree of intentionality. And she goes, what's wrong? What aren't you saying to me?
I don't think we're supposed to be here just yet. You're early. I smile. I sort of do a small movement around her to get closer towards where the master bath is. Where is she?
She's in the basement.
Of course she is. The basement that doesn't exist.
Oh, but you know it does. And
Yes,
she
I know it
is
does.
stepping in on you.
I will sort of place my hand up in a not a protective gesture, but probably something more arcane that I learned out of some strange tome from, a land to the east. Not so fast.
And she moves in on you to where that hand is just flush against her breast, and you don't know whether she's antagonizing you for this particular action, whether she's mocking you and saying that's not gonna work here, or whether this is just more part of her advance. Emotions are starting to get very, very confused. You're becoming very, very aroused, and for whatever reason the blood on that bed is starting to spread.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my other sixth sense and find out if my future wife means me good or ill.
Absolute ill.
Yeah.
Using, because you rolled for that one to activate that one, I will give you this much from just an understanding of the house. If you fuck her in this room, you'll never leave it.
Yeah. I'll I feel like I should probably try to keep it together.
I love this for you. I'm really excited for you, as a matter of
I
fact.
know you do. I know you love this for me. All right, so that's a roll plus willpower.
You got it.
All
Holy
right, so
shit.
that's a rolled 19 modified 21. I will look that bitch in the eye and say, "Back off."
She goes.
I'm here. I'm here
Mhm.
to do something. And you're not going to get what you want, not in this room.
She dips her chin down and she goes to actually either bite or suck on one of your fingers, but she does respond to the back off and she takes a step back.
Waste the playful one. I'm going to move a little bit positionally. I don't want to take my eyes off of, Helen, we'll call her.
Helen, I like that.
But I do want to look inside that bathroom to make sure that there's nothing waiting in there.
Yeah, you take a cautious step back and you look into the bathroom and you immediately regret it. I'm not
Good.
even going to describe what's in that bathroom. I'm just going to say you immediately go, that was the worst decision of my day. And that includes coming into this house. I'm not going to go any further other than say that was the wrong call for you. And when you step back and you look at Helen, she's smirking at you. And with a 19 unmodified, she's going to say to you, the entrance is through the servants' quarters. Since you're in such a rush, maybe once you find her, you'll come back to me.
I think Paz would probably pause for a moment at the idea of coming back to someone who likely physically and emotionally is exactly who we want to link up to, because that's just the way things are. That's the way the best poisons are anyway. And he'll say, "Don't count me out."
She smiles and she nods and she will saunter back. You said she was very curvy in all the right ways. So she's moving her hips very deliberate. She goes and she puts both the back of her hands into this bed, and blood actually pools up over her fingers. And she slides back onto the bed and she falls onto her back and she just spreads her legs, her knees wide for you. She says, I won't.
I'm going to take the opportunity to come a little closer to the bed. I'll run my hand up the left foot post and play a little song with the iron rings that connect the curtains.
And she begins easing out of her shorts in this very playful, jerky motion. But her back is now completely saturated in this blood. It appears to be pooling around her. Her red hair is blending in with the hair as you're playing this song. And she looks to you and she says, she's really not worth it. She's so far gone.
They're down there, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. And she's out of the shorts. And she's not wearing panties.
And I'm out of the room.
Color check.
I'm good. I'm green.
Green.
All good.
Okay. Hopping back down to Chin and Desi. You guys are heading back down the stairs. That's going to drop you back into the entryway.
So, Tara, Chen is good leading the way. They are finding themselves again in the sense of
Good for
losing
them.
themselves. So this is the mark of the daredevil, where we're heading into immense danger, and there might be glory or there might be ruin, but Chen lives for this type of a moment right now, when that indecision exists and that thrill exists, and just embodying this moment where the consequence doesn't matter. The consequence is almost out of your control. The decision has been made. And so you see this look of determination in Chen's eyes. Their face has started to reassert itself and become steady once again, although there's a disquieting twitch at the corner of their mouth. But what this means, I think, for Desi, is that Chen is very much in their own head, and if you want to direct where Chen is going, or sort of make scene decisions, Chen is going to follow your lead under the pretense of leading the way.
Okay. So we're heading where are you heading, Chen?
Well, there must be a way down, right?
Well,
is there anything you know? Is there any way to get further down in this place, or do we need to tear up some floorboards?
well, I would imagine if we're looking for a cellar or a basement that isn't a formal part of the house, that there would either be like an external entrance from for a root cellar or a tornado shelter, or the people most likely to be going down into that kind of storage place would be servants. So maybe head to the servants' quarters since we're already inside, or we can go outside and look for external
Sorry.
basement entries. What?
Can you guys hear the barking
No.
at all? Oh, thank God. A thunderclap went and the whole house went nuts. Sorry.
I think you were muted for that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Hopefully I'm back.
I
Okay.
think if you... So first of all, Chen would, in practice, defer to whichever you...
We heard that.
You weren't muted for that.
So the comical thing is, you guys can hear it in Zoom, but Twitch shouldn't have been able to hear it. But we'll pray about it later.
Interesting. If you leave it up to Chen, noting what I said previously, Chen is going to go to the most dangerous place. And from our earlier investigation from the outside of the house, that's going to be the servants' quarters, through the kitchen. And Chen just imagines that the kitchen is going to be terrible, right? Like all the other rooms have been terrible, so kitchen definitely. So that's where Chen would head off.
Can I, as we're heading there, I want to tell me, Bridget, what game action I need to use for this. I want to look around, and I want to know whether I have a sense that any objects that we're coming into contact with are cursed or possessed or anything of that nature. I have some supernatural investigation background. Do I have the ability to tell that at all?
Yeah, I love where you're going with that one. So I am willing to meet you more than halfway. I'll meet you at the 80% aisle. Give me the question that you're looking to get answered, and I can reverse engineer it for us.
I'm looking for touched or tainted objects that might either be amulets or things that can be destroyed to dispel part of these illusions.
No, that's absolutely amazing. So I won't waste your time with a roll. That's the one thing I love about Kult is you just don't roll to roll. Some stuff I can just 100% give you. If you're looking for a way to kind of like either weaponize or use something as a protective measure, like a physical object somewhere, amulet, a spell, a key, one of the carabiners, you're getting this impression as your fingers are moving over various objects or as you interact with different objects and you see things. It's not what's in this house. It's what's below it.
Okay.
There is something beneath this house that is radiating out. Whatever it is has eyes, hundreds of them, thousands of it. You've seen it. You've felt it. As a matter of fact, it mounted you shortly after you came into this house. The first thought that comes to you is like, yep, I'm never leaving this house. That's exactly what that was. I came face to face with the fire and it will eventually consume me. I have been touched. That's the first thought that comes to you. But as you are continuing through, no, there's nothing physical here in this house. There is something living under this house that is causing all of this. And you don't know how long it's been living there.
Wow. It's older than us.
It's much older than you. And whatever it is, its appetites are vast because it's continuing to pull people towards and into this house.
Is there any lore that I'm familiar with that could feed this? Might be connected to it or inform?
You know that moment when you're right there on the edge of something? You can taste it. You can feel it. You're so close. You're missing one or two pieces to give you a better picture. As of right now, this just feels like a haunted, fucked up house. There's no rhyme or reason to why anything is happening. It's just slapping you all around with trauma of its previous occupants. It's having a really good time doing it, though. But whatever it is that you need to be able to do to identify whatever this thing is beneath the house. And the thought hits you, Desi, especially with your supernatural background, especially with your possession and your exorcism. You know, popular media always got it fucking wrong. The angels weren't these gorgeous humanoid creatures with the big, beautiful white wings and the halos. They were multi-eyed monstrosities.
So do I have a sense that these are all angels in these rooms?
You get a sense that you're getting residual angelic effects from something.
And the angels aren't good?
Open to interpretation. Some of the people below would probably say the angels are the best thing that's ever happened to them.
This is why I left the church, you know.
We know.
They don't know.
But we do. It's okay, Desi. We see you. Chin is the first person to walk into the servants' quarters, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
I just want you to know you did that shit to yourself, and this is rules as written. Is it okay to get everyone into the servants' quarter at the same time, being that Paz is on his way down and Desi is heading that way too?
Is there a crucifix?
You have not seen a crucifix in this house yet.
Interesting.
That is peculiar, isn't it? I haven't seen a single one. Hot pink carabiners, yeah. Crucifix? No.
You got Bibles and shit, but no crucifix.
Bibles, but no crucifixes.
Okay.
The servants' quarters, these cramped, dark rooms still actively reek of onion and sweat. It's an overwhelming sensation. It sits on the back of your tongues. The empty bed stands actually suggest that people slept here 3 or more to a room and the debris is piled high. There are beaker boxes, I forget what they're called, on the ground that have, there's 3 or 4 of them. And just as a cursory looking over them, it looks like there's a bunch of documentation mixed from them. I mean, anything from bank statements from like modern day to ripped out pieces of a journal from 100 years ago. It's just it's a hodgepodge of just mixed together documentation. There's another large fireplace here. And there is a massive brown wooden cabinet that is stationed dead center of a wall. And the three of you are there.
Just a point of order. I think what would be excellent is that Chen and Desi have showed up here in the servants' quarters, and it hasn't felt like they've been here a long time, but suddenly Paz is there behind them.
I love that. That's nice. I like that a lot.
Is there anything that looks like it would go downwards, like a door leading into a closet, a ladder, a floor latch? Might this cabinet be actually something other than a cabinet?
Yeah, you're an urban explorer. This is kind of what you do. You're testing the floorboards. You're tracing your hands around the walls. You get to the cabinet. It's a heavy cabinet. It's pretty sturdy. And when you kind of shake it, you can feel that there's like a click, and it feels like there's a hinge to it that moves. I have a question for you really fast, Chen. What are you wearing right now?
Chen would be wearing what they would on any urban exploration trip into an environment like this. So pretty skin-tight clothing, excellent shoes, not shorts, but athletic wear. They've got a small backpack, something that's not going to like hit anything as they move around, but has just a few essentials in it. Yeah, probably long sleeves, but again, all athletic wear. Not totally dissimilar to maybe what you would see someone who's going to go swimming wearing.
Okay. That is perfect. So you guys are in the room, and then Chen, like I said, you're like, up, you got the cabinet. You're like, all right, we're good. And you're fucking with it on the hinges, and it begins to slide. And Desi, you see this, but what you're seeing makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But given the fact that you've been in a haunted house for the past 6 days, you're not really sure what's real, what's not, and how to believe this. But you see Chen approach from the exit of this room into the service quarter directly behind where Paz is standing. And Paz, you feel a sensation of fingers running from the crook of your neck here all the way down towards the end of your shoulders. And Chen's voice whispers into your ear, "You have such delicious shoulders."
I shake a little bit and look behind me.
Yeah, and what you see is Chen. In the outfit that Chen just described, other than the fact that this Chen is sweaty, panting, the eyes are a bit crazed, and when you turn around and you look at this Chen, they look at you and he says, "Fuck me. Please fuck me."
No, we barely know each other.
And Chen looks to you and puts a hand on either side of your face and leans in to kiss you.
Not in a million years. Not even if I was drunk. So I put a hand firmly on Chen's chest and say, if you're going to kiss me, the first thing you're going to do is kneel down in front of me.
Chen drops to their knees.
Very good. And turn around. Kiss my ass.
Fingers are pawing at the top of your thighs, your buttocks. They're fingering with your belt, and it looks like Chen is trying to pull themselves on the other side of you. The other two of you see this. And Chen, you can for sure give me a keep it together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm horrified to see not what's going on, that's just what it is, but rather seeing a version of myself that looks so unlike me.
Yeah.
Right, because usually my face is so controlled, and this individual is just completely out of control.
Reckless abandon.
Is this isn't any kind of an attack, right?
Not yet.
I've still got an edge, so I'm keeping that in my back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
All right, keep it together, Chen. That's not promising.
Together, Chen.
Storyteller, I'd like to see if I could make this worse.
I'm here for this. I support this
Okay.
decision.
So I'm going to grab Chen by the back of their hair,
Okay.
and I'm going to turn to the other Chen and say, you'd better find a way down, or you're going to watch me get my dick sucked by you right now. Get us out of here.
Is that helping or hindering, or is that just an action?
No,
Because
no,
I
it's
love
helping.
it so
It's
much.
helping.
Okay.
It's helping. It's what we call the slap and tickle. It's a help, but I'm gonna have to slap you in the face first.
Like
Okay.
bardic inspiration, but cult
Right.
style.
Correct. It's cultic bardic inspiration.
So go ahead and roll me plus yep, thank you so much.
So I rolled 11, and this is probably I would imagine anyway, a charisma roll. So that's a 12.
I like this. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm house ruling the hindering and keep it together based off of some recommendations that I saw from Seth Skorkowski's third video. So versus doing a +1 or 2 or -1 or 2 modifier, a success actually bumps you up an entire success tier.
Okay.
So, Jen, you got a what on your keep it together?
I had a 9, so that's going to just take me to the effort to resist instilling a condition which remains with me causes me some kind of hindrance. So
Beautiful.
it's,
So
it's again a condition on me.
So hold on. Before you do the condition, with Seth Skorkowski's house rule, it's not a +1 or +2 to the roll. It's a whole level increase. So now you jump from moderate success to a full success.
I was on the edge. 9 is the edge.
Oh,
So
Can I
whether
roll to
it-
help?
yeah, go for it.
Oh God.
I was gonna say whether it gives me a
Woo!
+1 or it takes me up a level.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, I got a natural 16 there. So
Holy shit. I will count those to a full success to you, Chin. But Desi, I want to know, what does helping look like in this situation? Because Paz just literally said, get your shit together or I'm getting my dick sucked by you right now.
I would so love to say something funny, but I can't think of anything good. I might say something like, you don't know where that's been. Let's go, or something like that. Just trying to break the spell of the illusion and pulling on some like routine toxic masculine humor.
Yes, to try to take this off balance.
Right.
Insert toxic masculinity here.
Here, insert bound. Chin, you're
It's
watching
everywhere.
all of this happen. You're watching Paz's zipper gets undone. The belt is now undone. And Chin, the Chin before you, Paz, looks up to you with like these just puppy, pitiful eyes. And they say, I swallow. I always swallow. And a hand is going into your pants. And Chin, you have a full success and you keep it together with your friends basically saying, keep your shit together.
I'm gonna
I
like
think
block Chen's view of Chen, like physically
Just don't look.
put myself between them.
No, Chen knows that they are on the edge right now, right? Like this is where they need to live. It's a turning point, and they need to get away from this thing, this version of themselves that's not really them. But it's not get away from it in like run away from it. It's get away from it more metaphysically, and that helps reassert Chen's more fundamental nature, and they will turn around and they will finish manipulating whatever mechanism is on this cabinet to open up a way below ground.
The cabinet slides. There's a clunk and a sling, and the cabinet slides beautifully to the right.
And Chen will look back at Paz and Desi very briefly and say, I'll lead the way, and head down.
Yeah, I shrug off the other Paz, sort of with a careful knee,
Happens to you all the time, right?
slightly push back the forehead and say, maybe next time.
Paz on the ground grabs at your open fly right now and says, no, there's no next time. There's right now.
Okay. Are you sure about that?
And he reaches, or they reach back into your pants.
Mike, would you permit a intercession?
Yeah, I mean, one of you is going to go down either way. So is it going to be one or both? I just need clarity on that.
which way.
I'm wondering whether I can use my remaining edge to help you avoid an attack from this thing by just briefly coming back when you haven't followed and sort of kick them out of the way so that all of us head downstairs.
I would be happy to see that happen.
A little chin on chin action right now.
If you're into that kind of thing.
It's a cult game.
Yeah. No, Chen will...
Not the weirdest thing that's happened to us today.
That's right. No, Chen will have started heading in, realized that Desi and Paz have not followed, and they will, unlike previously, they will turn around, they will go back into the servants' quarters, they will see what's going on with Paz and other Chen, and go over to Paz, kick other Chen in the face, and pull Paz and Desi along to try and encourage them to go underground. Again, Chen trying to lead the way.
Okay. I actually need an engage in combat if you're going to kick Chin on the ground.
Wow.
Just for funsies on everyone, just because I want to tell you how incredible I think this particular writer is.
Do I have to do it too?
Nope, just Chin that's doing damage on Chin. At some point, a doppelganger of the first PC to walk into the room appears in the corner opposite the door. The doppelganger attempts to persuade the PCs to join them in an orgy and will grow violent if refused. They will not stop until they're killed.
May I use my remaining edge? I was going to use it to avoid an attack on Paz's behalf, but maybe what would be more appropriate is, can I use this edge to get the jump on them, which allows me to harm an opponent before they can react?
I love this.
Suddenly coming back out of the cabinet and kicking them in the face.
Yeah.
This might be exactly that.
I love that. It's perfect.
I don't know what, if anything, I would need to roll, because it's just the expenditure.
This is just the expenditure of the edge. No, I'll just go ahead and give this individual 1 harm. What does this look like aesthetically? Not Paz. Chin is still in the game, but Chin is definitely a third of the way out of the door. I'll give you that much for your narrative description. So what does this look like when you come back in the room and kick Chin in the face?
I mean, I'm trying to kick them off Paz.
I'm good with that. Yep. Just give me a narrative.
That is the reason Paz isn't following. That can be the only reason that someone is holding on to him. So we just gotta kick other Chen out of the way so that we can all move on.
Okay, your boot makes contact, and these are Urban Explorer boots. So I'm imagining they probably have some type of a steel heel to them or steel toe to them.
I will say it's a bit out of my experience.
I'm gonna go
I don't know. I mean, they're going to be incredibly sturdy.
I'm gonna just up the damage to 2.
Tightly laced on my feet.
Yeah, because you did redo your shoelace before you walked in. No, I'm gonna give it 2. You're getting hit in the face with brunch or trauma with a steel toe boot. Yeah. You can feel the sensation through your toes of teeth giving way as you kick several teeth in of yourself. Blood starts running down Chin's face as they are knocked over and they topple out of the way. They are panting. They begin to cry and they look up at you and they look to you and he says, "That was the wrong move, Chin." And he runs in at you.
Oh, shit. I'm going to back up and let the chin on chin violence begin. But I'm also going to zip my fly up because this got way out of hand.
You were it's amazing how you've turned down this house on so many different occasions, Paz. Your wife wanted you upstairs. Chin wanted you here.
Yeah, I'm just teasing the house.
I'm really glad that you zipped up your fly because I just imagine, like, I'll know, Tara, how Desi would react if, like, you had Chen-on-Chen violence happening while Paz is off in a corner doing whatever.
Wait, corner? There's no shame here. No corner.
Not at the Laraine estate.
No, but you're being out of the way with your pants down. I don't know. Here I was just imagining you dying with your pants around your ankles.
I'm just options.
But it's clearly I was wrong.
Chin runs in on you with this frightful, angry face. And they come in on you and they're going to attack. And what I need from you is I need you to roll and avoid harm. Chin has steel-toe boots on too. What'd you get, Heinrich? I'm looking at the total, but what are your modifiers?
Sorry, I saw that I was. I just saw that I was muted.
Nope, you're safe. Bingo
And I
card.
gave a whole explanation just now. So I got a modified 10, which puts me just in the middle bracket, meaning that I avoid the worst of it. But the GM decides if I end up in a bad spot, lose something, or partially sustain harm.
Oh, we're going to go with the partially sustained harm because that makes me happy at this moment. So Chin barrels into you and you're just able to sidestep at the right moment, Chin, because you know how Chin fights because this is you. You knew the move that they were going for and you knew just how to avoid it at the last minute. And they come barreling in at you and they collide with their shoulders into your gut and you get pinned into the wall for a moment. You're going to take 1 harm, which immediately is going to trigger you to roll an endure injury. I need roll plus fortitude minus your harm. Whew. Roll with Dice Friends loves you tonight.
Man, I'm going down here. I've got a modified 7.
Okay, with a modified 7, the injury is overwhelming. You choose. If you are knocked out, the GM could also do a serious wound. You die, or you receive a critical wound. This is your choice, Heinrich.
I think it's going to be some kind of critical wound as I get pushed back and maybe collide with something.
You know what feels good to collide into? Like one of those beds that was standing up. The foot of that bed pierces into your back. You can feel things inside of you move in ways that they shouldn't be moving. Blood begins pouring down your back and you're almost impaled there for a moment with Chin on you, and Chin looks at you with delight. It's like, it's okay. It's okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And they are very quickly, while you're literally in, now, quick note for everyone, you get 2 critical wounds and you die. If you get another critical wound this game, Chin, you are out of the game. Blood is pouring out of your back, and all this particular Chin wants to do is fuck you. So you're impaled with the foot of this bed as your doppelganger is undoing your pants. Paz and Desi.
Well, I'm wearing like a dude going on a hike who doesn't know how to go on a hike clothing. I'm wearing like heavy hiking boots and I've got cargo pants on with like 1,500 pockets and some sort of athletic shirt and then a long sleeve thing over that. And then the back full of water. So in one of these pockets is a pocket knife, like a multi-tool kind of deal.
I love it.
And so when combat began, I slit that out and open it up, and now I am going to come up and try to cut the throat of the Chen on the ground, like come up beside / behind and reach in, just like in the movies.
Oh, I love it so much. So Chin is undoing Chin's pants. They reach up for a second and blood is starting to pour out of Chin's mouth just from whatever this wound is in their back. And that Chin reaches up and just kisses them passionately. So they're sharing this gurgly, bloody kiss. And then that Chin drops down to his knees. He says, it's okay. It'll feel better in a second. It'll feel so much better in just a second. And I need a act under pressure from you, Desi.
I just want to see. Oh no,
this is about to be potentially the worst blowjob of all times.
This is not good.
That's not terrible.
It is, because I have a -2.
Oh God. Oh God.
What is it that you cut?
Okay, so if you don't mind, I'd like to assist with that roll.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind at all.
Send thoughts and prayers to that roll, please, by all means. How are you assisting? And feel free to roll it.
Done zipping your pants up, Paz. Could you?
So a move like that is all about leverage.
It
right?
is.
So what I would like to do is utilize. Mm, yeah, I'm gonna use a little bit of leverage. I'm gonna make a roll with violence and help that knife maybe move a little smoother.
Okay.
I'm gonna change the trajectory of the body to put the the chin that we don't need any more help from in the right position for Desi to do the business, as it were,
Okay.
but
Fuck
not
me.
with a 5. Not with a
It's gonna
5.
be a 1-session game, you guys.
This is
I mean, at least
no need for next
Chen.
Saturday, guys.
Apologies,
Woo!
my move has unintended consequences.
Okay, guys. We are at time for this, so this is perfect. That was a failed helping or hindering from Paz. Your interference has been unintended consequences. That's caused unintended consequences, which is great.
Oops.
This is also with a double fail on top of Desi's. There are serious consequences for this failed act under pressure. You make a mistake or you're exposed to danger. The GM makes a move. Collectively table, especially Chin, being that this is you. I don't want to kill you right now. I should, but I don't want to kill you right now. So collectively with us right now at time, what happens in this moment as Desi goes up and puts the blade right behind Chin's throat as Chin is getting ready to put something else in his throat with a bloody mouth?
I submit that what happens is there is a scramble because we have 4 individuals all in a sense dogpiling here. And so what I think happens is other Chen tries to resist getting their throat cut, ends up getting pushed forwards and also getting impaled on this thing that's sticking through. It breaks off, and at the end of it all, you are looking at 2 Chens on the ground, both incredibly bloody, only one moving, and you may not be sure which is which.
And that, friends of the Symphony, is where our episode is going to end for tonight. Thank you to everyone who has joined in or is currently watching a replay. You are indeed the best part of waking up, and we sincerely appreciate you. Woo! Let's do this giveaway really fast if I can even pull it up, because my nervous system is on fire right now. Oh, color check. Y'all are real quiet.
I'm good.
All good?
Green.
Nice and
Green. Okay.
One of me is, anyway.
Listen, one of you is at
Red
least.
last I saw. Oh wait.
Ooh. Hey, look who won the copy. It's Doc.
Hey, Doc won.
Congratulations, Doc. Doc, coordinate with a whole ass Mike Diamond. He will get you that complimentary PDF of the 4th edition Kult Divinity Lost Rules. Okay. Cast and crew is going to go take a brief break, and then we're going to come back for our post-Symphony Gala. So we are going to unpack our impressions of the episode, what we thought, things we liked, didn't like, what we anticipate is going to happen for next week. You do have to be a Patreon of Symphony Entertainment to access that one, so you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. And it's not just talkbacks, it's free products, it's voting polls, it's a lot of really fun stuff. I do my best to spoil my Patrons the best I can. If you'd like to hang out with us on Discord, there's a link in the chat over our website at symphonyentertainment.com or running in the Twitch chat. But before we empty out the auditorium, let us give thanks that Ohio didn't Ohio us. Whoo! And let's go around one more time, starting with Tara, and tell us who you are, what you do, and where people can find you if you want to be found.
I'm still Tara. I'm not a professional gaming person. You can find me online. You can find me at chaosium.com or chaos. I said it again.
That's okay.
Chaosium Con in April. And I'll see you around.
Amazing. Chin, the 2 Chins. I'm sorry, I mean Heinrich.
Well, we may not know whether it is original Chen or other Chen who is surviving, but I'm still Heinrich, and I am a Call of Cthulhu community content creator. And I don't know.
I don't either after that. Holy shit. Yep. A whole ass Mike Diamond.
So I was not prepared for Saturday to be filled with Chen kebabs, but here we are. You can find me at the Old Ways Podcast, basically on most of your social medias. We do all sorts of amazing stuff through our Patreon. And we will be at Chaosium Con. We will be at Origins this year. We'll be at Gamehole Con. Tons of live events. All sorts of crazy stuff that you can come and join us with.
Cast, thank you. Guys, we will be back for episode 2 of the Laraine Estate. Same time next week on Saturday. We're going to have to buckle up for this one. The top half of this game was Haunted House. The second half is something else entirely. So definitely join us if you can. Thank you again for your time. Thank you guys for everything that you do that makes everything that we do possible. We hope you've enjoyed the Symphony, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a wonderful night. Mwah.